Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Furtadio Experience, the podcast that leaves you feeling more conscious, engaged, and fulfilled to make an impact as a leader. So today, what I'm talking about is a little bit of compassion. And so, honestly, I looked at the dictionary definition just to dive right in, and it said to want to help someone who is basically sick or needy. And I was like, well, I feel like we can exercise compassion to other people who aren't sick and needy, who we can exercise compassion to all different people. And that's kind of where I want to begin this conversation is right where I want to take this is as leaders, and as you know, whether you're in the authoritative leadership position or an influential leader, as in like it's not in your title, so you technically don't have it, but you have those different skills, right? It's all about getting to know your teammates. And honestly, this is something that I'm gonna give an example of myself right now of not doing well, and what I need to do better is I have a coworker that just does things a little bit differently. And I think, instead of, honestly, my natural tendency is, I guess, quote unquote, to be honest, just to judge. And I want to also take the time to understand, maybe why they are doing certain things, and leading in a certain way, instead of being critical. I think obviously I can see some of their background and what is kind of going on and what has happened in their life to a certain extent, right? Like I can see how they're basically leading through how they were taught, right? I think in a lot of ways that's how we end up leading. But I need to do a better job at being compassionate and asking questions, and genuinely, like, it doesn't even have to be like, oh, why are you doing this, right? It's just like getting to know them a little bit more. I'm almost more self-aware that I'm talking to my other colleagues, but I'm not talking to them quite as much, just because they're a bit, it's a bit challenging sometimes. So, but and if you want to be an effective leader, like if I want to actually be an effective leader, I have to be able to build relationships with all people, and even people that are a little bit different than ourselves. And I think we have to respect that of other people, and I still need to get better at that, because there are times when I maybe judge too quickly, or I don't meet them where they're at and give them what they need. You have to be able to listen. Like I think that's something that I'm really learning, right? Like as leaders or people that want to be make decisions, have the responsibility, we want to like give this advice and like all this and all that. But honestly, I'm the more, even as I'm talking right now, I'm like almost like learning, like, wow, I need to really just like listen more and meet people where they're at more, just like in all different facets, right? Like you can't treat, there's a saying like treat everyone how you want to be treated, but once you get to a certain point, everyone wants to be treated in a different way, right? And you have to, if you want to be like a very effective leader, is you have to be able to meet them where they're at, and kind of course, you're not going to be able to give people everything that they need, right? Like it's going to be an opportunity to really like get to know them, right? And sometimes, there's not always time, but I do think it's so important to spend, the 5-10 minutes, right? Before each practice, before each meeting, just, kind of shooting the shit, right? Like just literally talking it out and getting to know the person, because I believe, right, it's people are the ones that are driving all these missions and organizations, and they're pushing the buttons, right? And we have to understand our people, and honestly, like this kind of went to an understanding, but I feel like compassion, it's just a layer deeper, right? It's a layer deeper of like really doing your best to like obviously put yourself in their shoes, right? You never can really fully experience what someone else has experienced, right? Like that's just it's not possible. It's not possible. But you can do your absolute best to like just genuinely listen, right? And not, I think for me, it's letting go of the judgments that's right, that's wrong. And I think that honestly starts with ourselves. Sometimes it's like letting go of this need to do things the quote unquote right way, like what really is the right way. And there are maybe some other facts out there, but in a lot of ways, like what is a fact besides gravity, and for those that are like science minds, and there's a lot more facts, and like of course there are more facts, right? There's data. Like my point is like I think exercising compassion is letting go of judgment. Like, and it starts with the self, right? Letting go of judgment for yourself. It's not easy, right? Like, it's really, you internalize all these different things that society tells you over so long, right? And then you're like, I'm judging myself for this and that, and I'm honestly like learning as I'm talking right now, because I'm in the process of trying to like let go of some of my self judgments and preconceived notions over what I have, and right, asking myself what do I really think is success, right? But that's a whole nother podcast. But compassion, just exercising that compassion for myself, that I make mistakes, and I'm not perfect, and I'm may make decisions where I'm like, why in the world did you do that, or whatnot. But we're human, right? We're not robots. So just exercising that self-compassion also helps you kind of flow into the compassion for your team. So would love to know your thoughts on this. Reach out to me via email, or really connect with me on social media. I create content to connect with people and connect ideas and really try and move the world forward and make the world a better place and make an impact. So please reach out to me. Sending y'all much love. Enjoy the rest of your day, morning, evening, whenever you're listening to this. So for Tato, out.